Hello everyone, it is the 19th of December 2021. Just wanted to bring you an update on Boniface's surgery situation and some of the renovations he's made down here in the basement. As you can see, I'm pointing here at his right rear thigh and leg, and you really can't even see the scar anymore. So it's healed up very well. I'd say he's about 85-90% there. He's starting to take long walks again and play tug of war and things like that. So it's been a long road for him, but he's finally recovering. In the meantime, I had done some basement renovation, but he elbowed me out of the way with that and said that he wanted to build what the dog version of a man cave is down here. He calls it the Dog Pound. So I had showed you some of these before. If you haven't seen these, I'll do a quick recap and then just show you some of the new things that he's put in here. He's had his friends over and they have done a number of things. The first thing that he had done was put up some artwork, and I showed you that. That's Elvis Presley. Excuse the glare on these. It doesn't glare when you're standing in front of him, but the King of Rock and Roll, Eddie Van Halen, the Beatles. He recently put a lava lamp in, so he has that going. All those drumsticks down there, and a couple of these really cool armless 1950s era vintage chairs. They're really comfortable, and I see him come down because he's also put in a television and a sound bar that I see him and his friends sitting up there in the chair, sometimes just rolled up taking a nap. But one of the other changes is that well, that's got a lot of glare in it, unfortunately. He put a picture of the Rolling Stones, and there's Charlie Watts on the left, Mick Jagger, Bill Wyman, Keith Richards, and then late Brian Jones on the side. And Charlie Watts just passed away a couple months ago, so sorry to see him go. Not really a huge Rolling Stones fan, but you certainly can't diminish the impact that they've had on the genre. And Charlie Watts was just a really great drummer, really into jazz, and so he did that. Again, sorry for the glare. Remember, we had Brian Wilson up here. The TV and the sound bar is new down here, so he's put that in. And then we had his picture of James Brown, The Who, and then Ringo Starr with a cigarette dangling from his mouth. And we really have to reach to our French friends to have an appreciation of that. I mean, what insouciance of sitting there behind the drum kit, practicing his métier while having a smoke. Shows sort of both the savoir-faire of him being able to know how to drum, and also the savoir-vivre of knowing how to live at the same time. Certainly wouldn't, of course, advocate that anybody takes up smoking, but I was watching an AC/DC clip from the early 2000s. I think it was 2003, 2005. They were down in Buenos Aires, and the drummer Phil Rudd was back there having a smoke. So Angus Young's up there jumping around the stage doing his duck walk thing, and Phil's back there in the drum kit just having a smoke. So one of Boniface's friends encouraged him to make this addition to the drum kit, and that is a Dave Johnston Meinl Dave Johnston series cowbell. So he's got that going. I think the next thing he said, he wants to put a wood block up here between the high tom and the low tom. So he's looking into that. But as you can see, he's sort of just taken over the basement. One of the other changes that he has made, well, we had, of course, Miles Davis and Billie Holiday, the Monkees. Another death recently. Mike Nesmith on the far right, Peter Tork, and then, of course, the two others, Davy Johnson and, Mickey Dolenz, of course, is the only one alive now, right there, second from the left. They were sort of the Marx Brothers of pop music, but Davy Johnson and Mickey Dolenz had good voices, and they had good writers and put together some snappy songs, so you can't not like the Monkees. What a bunch of fun, and Boniface really enjoys them, so he has that. And of course, the picture of the KC-135 refueling C-141. I know both of those pilots in there. They both fly for Delta Airlines now. It's somewhere over either Indiana or Ohio. The airplane was based out of Wright-Patterson at the time. So anyway, not musical, but I really like that picture, so it stays up there. Now, the changes that Boniface has really made in here, just to bounce off the room, and you really have to excuse the glare on this. Pink Floyd. Boniface watched the 8 Hours Beatles Get Back. Let me see if I can turn that light off, and if that'll do any better for us. Maybe turn these lights down just a nib. There you can see it. Richard Wright, Roger Waters, Nick Mason, and of course the really incomparable David Gilmour there on the far right. Anyway, Pop was watching the Beatles Get Back, Peter Jackson 8 Hour Special, and it's really great. I mean, how can you not love the Beatles? But he also tries to keep other tastes in music, and he really is a Pink Floyd fan. And you know, this Dark Side of the Moon, just one of the greatest albums of all time. I really don't like lists and try to slot things in, but you can't not say that Dark Side of the Moon was just one of the greatest pieces of music ever recorded. So they were in the van of that progressive rock era, much longer songs, often tied together. A lot of these guys had a lot of experience in jazz, so they liked these long thematic developments, and just really weren't into the 2.5, 3 minute pop genre. Nothing wrong with that at all, but they wanted to develop something a little bit more thematic and longer, and boy, they succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. This other picture, again, I apologize for the glare, is the Battersea Power Station. That is Pink Floyd used that on the cover of their Animals album. Off to the left, you can see a pig floating up above there. And that was a real thing that they did. I'll turn the lights down just again once more to see if I can, can't get rid of that glare here, unfortunately. Battersea Power Station is about 1 mile south of Buckingham Palace. It's on the south side of the Thames. Beautiful, beautiful building, absolutely gorgeous. I think they're now renovating it and probably making a shopping district out of it and flats and things like that. But in the mid to late 70s, Roger Waters drove by it almost every day, and he had this idea for an album cover, and he hired a German firm to make this large inflatable pig. And that's what you see floating on the left. Now, this picture we're looking at is actually a painting of it, but there's black and white shots and color shots of the real building. And they're going to shoot this over a couple days, and they had the pig untethered and it floated up, but it got loose. And if any of you know about London, the river sits right under the approach to Heathrow Airport, and the planes are not that high. They're about 1,500 feet, maybe 1,600, 1,800 feet at that time, and certainly probably less than 2,000 if I recall correctly. And this pig floated up into the flight path and disturbed all the air traffic, and they finally got it back and came back the next day and shot the picture. But you hate to reach for a word as cliched as iconic, but it is an iconic album cover, just as it was with The Dark Side of the Moon, and The Prism was another one. So anyway, really like these other bands. I'm glad to see Boniface having an appreciation for Pink Floyd. When I was in high school, they were considered, not really played on the stations, they were considered heavy metal and psychedelic rock and things like that. But you go back and listen to them now, and the lyrics are good. They're just long, developed melodies, and David Gilmour plays just one of the most lyrical guitars that I know of. So anyway, that's young Boniface and his work down here in the Dog Pound. So he's getting to be in fine fettle, and right now it looks like he's had enough of videographing and he wants to go out and do a little playing. So Pup, if you want to say goodbye to everybody and tell them that you're doing well and you're happy that they're happy down here in the Dog Pound, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.